First up, as we have our panel, is a family-friendly TV fans know him as the sweet-natured dad on Full House, while comedy mavens know him as the often foul-mouthed comic who chronicles his many sides in his New York Times best-selling book, Dirty Daddy. It's Bob Saget. Yeah.
All right. He played Dr. Preston Burke on the popular medical drama Grey's Anatomy. But out of those scrubs, he's an outspoken activist who traced his roots and mine, and he's helping others do the same in his book, A Man from Another Land. Everybody, give it up for Isaiah Washington.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to point out Isaiah has a new film coming out called Blackbird. It's coming out very, very shortly. We'll tell you about that in a minute. Yep. But let's get started with some of these topics.
Listen, there was a lot of compelling stories that HuffPost readers read this week, but none more so than the story of Walter Scott, the unarmed black man who was shot in the back by a white police officer in South Carolina. How many times have we heard this story? I mean, we did a story on it last week.
We do it every week.
Again. It's unbelievable. But here's the difference this time. There was a video.
That's right.
Right? There was a video. So do you think in any way, if there wasn't a video, the story would be completely different and would just be another black guy dead on the ground?
Well, I don't look at life that way to say another black guy dead on the ground. I couldn't watch the video. I can't to input that stuff. I can't, and I read about it and my heart's broken. So the video makes it more upsetting, and it's something that they would say children on CNN, turn away, don't watch this part. And everything inputs on me because I want to know the news. I want to know what's going on. I want to know what's happening in life. Yeah. But I'm one of those people that shouldn't look, but I'm courageous enough. I want to help the world and I want to know what's going on. But having a video is, it's jury evidence.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
but the question is, could he still get off even with this? I mean, we saw Eric Gardner. We saw the cops choke him out, and then they didn't even indict them. Is there a chance, do you think, that this guy might get off?
You know, it's an interesting point that Bob brings up is that I think a lot of people choose to be, disconnected from it for obvious reasons, emotional reasons. But I think the problem with that is that if certain people are denying what is happening here, that's been happening here since we arrived as the first immigrants on slave ships, then we can't keep looking away from it. And I think there's no other comparables to it because this is the first time we've actually seen a police officer actually kill another human being. I'm not just so sure that we get locked into Black Lives Matter. All lives matter. Yeah. And I think the problem, what you're saying is that we saw a human being be killed by another human being. And I think that is the narrative that we need to really follow on, because what we don't see is Chinese-American law being shot by a Latino. We don't see the narrative of a Caucasian, and we know that happens. Homeless person has been beaten by an African-American police officer. We know it happens. What is it with this narrative here in America that everyone cannot look or look away or just really look like some kind of sick pornographic way that these black bodies are being killed, whether we see it or not? That's something that I want to get more into and figure out how can we become human beings again.
And it's happened since the beginning of time, but I didn't have a cell phone 20 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And so people have been killing each other since they were people, and it makes no sense.
And if you take all the people of color out of America, then there would be other human beings finding a reason to balkanize each other. We have history right now in Serbia, Chechnya, and they call it ethnic cleansing. So it's not that killing is going to stop, but what I'm trying to get to is that there are a lot of people that I really talk about with DNA, that there has to be a point where the people that share the same DNA that created civilization can really come up and be voiced and say, you know what, we have to be more civil. We have to civilize this thing, because if we don't, we're going to continue to balkanize.
I think part of the Black Lives Matter movement, though, is that attempt to say, look, all lives matter. But black people keep being the ones on the receiving end of state violence. They're the ones who keep getting killed. They're the ones whose killers go unchallenged or sometimes
unindicted, yeah, exactly.
Et cetera, et cetera.
And that's the nuance that I got in a conversation with Black Twitter.
Oh, you got hammered by Black Twitter.
People know that there's a different Twitter.
See,
I only know this by. I only know
I
this
can
by
get you in, just so you know a guy. You know a guy.
I know him. I know this guy. So
and I'm going to go back to Morgan Freeman, who caught a lot of flack for saying this. Is that like I told Bob in the background, you stop calling me black, I'll stop calling you white, because those are social constructs.
But I would never do that.
No, you wouldn't. So when people ask me the other day, they ask me.
I'll say a turtle's a turtle. I understand different species.
The other
We're
part
all human beings.
Human beings.
I hear that?
That's
I don't know, y'all.
I know.
No, the nuance.
I was listening intently to what everything you said from the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
And,
If this is not
it's
to
a
be
generalization, but they're really great people
Of course.
in the world.
Of course.
And there are horrific.
But if we look at
stupid
South
people in the
Carolina,
world that are
but
making
if they look at South
humanity.
Carolina, just as an example, we see that every other black person in South Carolina in 2012 was stopped, ratio-wise.
50%.
50% of the people were stopped for these kind of petty crimes. And that's the thing that Eric Garner was talking about. Remember when the cops came on him, he said, not today. He's not, because it's this petty again and again and again. We saw it in Ferguson. That's how they made the money. I mean, I think I've never had that happen to me. I got to say, they've never happened to me for loose cigarettes. Well, right.
I
got stopped the other day because I was in a rental.
Really?
And I felt profiled.
And what did they say?
It's what, cheap?
Actually,
Was it like a rent-a-wreck or something? Yeah.
No, I had a borrowed car, and this is very heinous and upsetting for my life.
Yeah.
That's being facetious.
Yeah,
But
of
I had a license plate from a place that gave me the car, and then she said, we're going to give the place the ticket, not you, Bob, because, and then she, I think, got excited because I was on TV one time for her. and then we
Which
stopped.
Bob did she like? Did she like Funniest Home Videos Bob, or did she like Danny Tanner Bob?
She understands all of
All of them. The many sides too.
That's the kind of shit I don't get. Chris Rock is pretty famous too. And he Instagrammed that he got pulled over a few times.
Yeah.
No one said, hey, that's the guy from Pootie Tang. They just gave him a ticket.
Pootie Tang.
Yeah,
You
Pootie
don't even give him
Tang.
credit for top five.
But no, that's not
five,
true.
right?
That's not true. That's not true. That's why I got it in Black Twitter.
Okay, so talk about this because you responded to him.
I responded to him by saying that, look, I sold my, really tongue-in-cheek in a way, but I was serious. There's always truth in jest. I said I sold my $90,000 Mercedes and bought 3 Priuses. All right? I said adapt. #adapt. Well, Black Twitter went crazy because in the real life, that how can you adapt to racial profiling? How can you?
And why
adapt
should you
to
have to?
racism?
You shouldn't have to walk around with 3 Priuses.
And, right.
You on Grey's Anatomy, you don't need 3 Priuses.
But it saves on gas. And if you have a Prius, you could drive 300 miles on a gallon, but that's another segment.
Wait,
That's another segment. That's another segment.
three of them.
That's another segment.
Okay.
That's another
That equals
segment.
one
That's another
car.
segment.
Yeah.
But the idea was he never responded. To this day, we don't know what happened on that 3rd and 7 weeks. We still don't know from Chris Rock. To this day, what happened? You can't have 3 million followers and come out there and press the button. That's like saying right now, bomb in a theater or in an airport. So there's a bomb on a plane or a fire in a theater, and then say, okay, hey, I've been stopped 3 times, and then you don't give us the update on how you got out of it.
And there's also, Chris Rock could just be a bad driver, right?
Yeah,
Well,
that could
we
be
don't know that.
Yeah. Let's say
It
it.
could be a shitty driver. I mean, it's possible. But I guess for people, Black Twitter, I think the response was, why should black people have to adapt? Yes, you shouldn't run from the police officer in South Carolina. But if you do, you shouldn't get shot. Yeah, you should. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have to adapt. Yes, maybe a $90,000 car does make you more of a target, but you should be able to. Plenty of rich white people ride around with $90,000 cars, and they don't get pulled over. All
And this is maybe.
Can I ask you a quick question?
This
When
may be
you
a
say
more.
bomb in a theater, do you mean a movie that doesn't perform? I'm very
Yeah. Which one was
not
that?
into the world.
It's the whole variety thing. Yeah, let's move on to the
These
next
things
topic.
get hard.
Get hard. That's my mantra.
So there's other stories happening this week. The big one that just happened today. Mark.
Let's talk about it. All right. Another important thing. You all are going to be stunned. So just brace. I'm glad you all are already sitting.
Hang on.
Hillary Clinton's going to run for president.
Spit take.
Yeah, I swear.
Spit take.
No way.
True story. She's going to run for president. She announced, they announced that they're going to announce that on Sunday she's going to slip something on the interwebs that will be a video announcement that she's going to run for president in 2016. Her campaign will have a beautiful campaign video, and she's already published a new epilogue to her book, Hard Choices, another thing of yours.
What are the color?
That'll be on the HuffPost. It's on the HuffPost right now.
What are the color schemes of her book? Are they? Is it like a
We don't
wedding?
have it with us.
Chartreuse.
It's not as good as Dirty Daddy, though. I'm telling you. Yeah, the
appreciate what you
epilogue to Dirty Daddy is a little bit different. Yeah.
God bless you.
But here's the thing about Hillary. Do you sense the excitement? Is there an excitement out there? Are you? Yeah. Yeah.
I actually.
Yeah, but remember, last week we had Elizabeth Warren here. Y'all like Elizabeth Warren?
Yeah.
Did you hear the difference?
Yeah.
She was good on here.
Yeah. But did you hear the difference?
But here's the thing with Hillary. It's like, which Hillary is it? I kind of feel like there was the Hillary in 2008, didn't kind of go over that well. That other fella came along and took it. Then she became Madam Secretary. Benghazi
I like that role.
You like that one?
I like the dirty Hillary.
You like Dirty Hillary?
Actually, she was kind to me once. I lost a couple of sisters, and one of them I lost to a disease called scleroderma, and I'm on the board of the Scleroderma Research Foundation. And Hillary, when Bill was the president, President
Are
Clinton.
you sure he was the president, or was Hillary the president at the time?
Well,
She was
I
in
don't
the White
know,
House
but
for 8 years.
They did a lot of Drake.
No, I think it would be interesting if Michelle Obama and Hillary Clinton ran on the same ticket. That's what I would like to see. No?
That one didn't do well. Maybe on Black Twitter.
Not if Michelle Obama is running as vice president?
I would do that. It's like, yeah.
I think the
But the thing
she was
is,
good to you.
She was very kind because she wanted to help women's health issues, and this disease is mostly women get it in the prime of their lives, and she was just very kind. And she didn't touch me aggressively or anything, and I didn't know. You know, I'm a dad from TV. Who knew?
The question is, do you think, though, that we're going to be talking about emails? Are we going to be talking about that? Are we going to be talking about, the fact that there's a looming potential for a war in Iran? Are we going to be talking about, the middle class shrinking? Or are we going to be talking about the horse race? Who's ahead? Rand Paul, doesn't give good interviews. Ted Cruz, where do you see this narrative going?
They look like they're in the Lego movie. I don't want to put them down, but and I'm not having a good hair day, so I shouldn't talk. But.
I'm just tired. For me, it's like I'm tired of talking about the wrong stuff. Ariana Huffington was on Morning Joe this morning.
Yeah.
And she was saying that we need to decide what we're going to give oxygen to.
Yeah.
Or is every faux scandal going to be something we talk about for 4 days? Is every slip of the tongue going to be something that we scandalize? Or can we just have an election where we actually talk about issues?
Yeah, we want to have a button, and we're going to build it onto the HuffPost where you can just press it and go, don't care. Don't care,
Okay.
every ridiculous faux outrage of the day.
Is it going to come with the Google Glass?
Don't care. It'll come with the Google Glass, and it'll come with that same button that Amazon just put out so you can get your Tide delivered to you. You just press. Did you guys see that? No? Okay.
The other thing is, for me, I'm tired of seeing the same faces. All right. I mean, there's a really good chance Scott Walker, I think, is the front runner, the prohibitive favorite in my mind.
Until they start asking about foreign policy.
That's right. And then they realize he's dumb as a turnip,
Yeah.
and then they'll go back to Jeb Bush.
Yeah.
And then we end up with Jeb Bush versus Hillary Clinton, another Bush-Clinton showdown. Aren't you all tired of seeing that?
It's been two families.
The American monarchy.
It's been no, American monarchy. It's been two families that's been in power for what, 24 years?
Yes, since
I don't want to
92.
interrupt or nothing, but I just want to say, because this is live and you told me there's no restrictions, I
Yep.
just want to say I'll
the curse.
never be tired of Bush.
Oh! Bob Saget, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, finally,
Yeah, my apologies.
we'd be remiss if we failed to talk about one of the most commented on stories of the week.
The big one.
Yeah, you know the one I'm talking about. Yes, it's the rumors surrounding the long-delayed, oft-fantasized about Full House reunion.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bob, it was all over.
Yeah, it got out there.
It was all over the place. So we got to ask you,
Yes.
are we going to see Danny and Uncle Joey and DJ and Michelle? Are they making a comeback?
Well, I mean, we go out to dinner sometimes, but I'm not sure.
Does David Coulier be like, please do it, please do it, please, I need something. I'm dying here.
He would say, cut it out. You know what was nice about the show? The reason that Netflix and people got excited about it is people are infatuated, as you know, with the 90s now. It's no different than when I was young and Happy Days was the 50s. And 50s wasn't so great. There was a lot of stuff going on that was upsetting, but Happy Days gave you a very white America.
I miss Fonzie.
Are you the Fonz of the 90s?
I miss Fonzie, though. I like
Bob
Fonzie.
Saget.
John
Stamos is the Fonz of the 90s.
He was.
Fonz, and
Yeah,
I
the
was
Fonz.
Richie Cunningham, because it was the hub of the show.
It's the Bosley.
Yeah, Tom Bosley, I think, was Michelle, but
yeah.
but it was and Pinky was DJ. These are lovely people, and that's why. And we loved each other, and you loved your cast when you work with people.
So can you give us the scoop? Is it happening?
I actually do not know. I actually just have I had a BlackBerry as a suppository, so I could be getting the message.
Let's be quiet. Let's see if the vibration happens.
Right, I'm getting.
What's the number? I'll dial you. I will dial you right now.
Why does a BlackBerry got to be a
Here we
suppository?
go. Wait.
I know, right?
I got your number.
Well, they changed it to Whiteberry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
This shit is
but-
racial. Thank you, Isaiah.
no,
Thank you.
racist.
That's
That's
why I
it.
bring a black guy every week.
right.
That's why I bring a
Thank
black
you,
guy every
both.
week.
Thank
I
you
need some
both.
help.
I'm upset. That was a poop joke. That was
What's the racist?
little blackberry, like a dingleberry. It was a poop joke cleaning out as an old
Oh, it's getting
professional
deeper
dick joke.
and deeper.
Anyway, let's hear it for them, ladies and gentlemen. Bob Saget, Isaiah Washington. You can catch Isaiah's film Blackbirds in theater on April 24th, and you got to go to bobsaget.com to find out about Bob's touring dates. Hey, thanks for watching.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click here for more videos.
And make sure to catch new episodes Friday at 9 p.m. on HuffingtonPost.com.